I'm Elaine Norling and I live at Copacabana. And why do I live here? Because back in the 70s we were looking for a place to have a holiday home. And Copacabana was a very cheap beach at the time, not far from Sydney. My life is really about family and friends and about human rights, equality, fairness in our society. And so I've wrapped my whole life around that. Career-wise, I was always interested in being an art teacher from the time I was in 5th class at school. Don't ask me how, but I did, and became an art teacher, and I was teaching mainstream and then was able to move by a series of circumstances into special ed. And special ed was really where my heart was, because these were people who were somewhat neglected and sidelined by the education system, let alone society. And art as therapy was really what I was interested in. So whilst I was doing that, I also was doing other things like my own artwork. And for 10 years I was the black and white illustrator for the magazine Earth Garden. And they produced a number of specialist books at the time which I illustrated, and I did some medical books. I loved doing dissections of the eye or something like that, so my studio would be full of little bits and pieces or plants growing, things like that. I guess my passion gets down to fairness and therefore justice, equality, those issues, and I would be very much seen as a feminist activist all my life. My first occasion being when I stood in front of the baker's horse because he was whipping him when he was delivering the bread, and I was age 8, and I said he couldn't pass unless he stopped whipping the horse, and I don't think I've stopped since then. I've stood in front of so many buildings that contain the people who could make a difference. I've walked in that many marches I couldn't count, from feminist marches through the Vietnam marches. Community is really important to me because you can't do it alone, and also to do things in a group with a single-mindedness is such a powerful place to be. Back through 40 years of my life I've been involved in trying to get a better deal for women in hospitals when they're having their babies. And by the middle 70s, after 15 years of battling away, I was thinking we're not getting anywhere. And a group of us got together and formed the Home Birth Group. And so my passion has been to try and create change, but with a group of people so that we're all working for it. Of course, it's not only activism that gets you to meet your community. There's the pleasure of entertainment, and ever since I was a very young teenager, I've been interested in film. I don't know a lot about actors and their past. I tend to have to Google that. But what I do love is the cinematography and the whole writing of scripts, how they weld scripts, visuals, music that already exists, how that's all put together, and the direction just fascinates me. And so for 8 years now I've been running that film group. So film group, I guess, was really an endeavour just to get people looking a bit more deeply at film. It gives that chance to explore a film in a way if you just go and see it and you come out and you go home, you tend not to do. And often people in the group have said, what I love about coming every week to film group is that I'm going to see a film I would never have chosen to see. And of course that would have been my loss. And they're the sorts of things that keep you going when you're interested in film, that you know you're encouraging people to see something more than just sheer entertainment. If I could inspire my community to do one thing, I think it would be to talk to each other. We all get in our cars, especially here in Copa, which is steep hills, and off we drive. And the touching with our neighbours has just about vanished. If we could just get more connected with each other, have a greater idea of who's in pain, of who's in joy, of who's in need, or just say hello to each other and go out of our way a little. I think that would move us forward to do bigger and better things because the connection would be there. I feel beholden to do something about the way I live and the way to help those around me and how they live. And if it doesn't seem to be fair and just, speak up, and speak up with a loud voice.